Hey everyone, welcome back to Gearhead Garage, where we dive deep into the machines that make our hearts race and our palms sweat. If you're a fan of American muscle, if you've ever daydreamed about that screaming eagle on the hood tearing up the streets, then buckle up because today we're talking about the car that's got the entire automotive world buzzing, the 2026 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am. Yeah, you heard that right, Pontiac is back, baby. After more than 2 decades in the shadows, the Firebird is roaring to life again, and this Trans Am edition. It's not just a revival, it's a resurrection with fangs. Imagine the raw, unfiltered aggression of the 70s bandit killer mixed with cutting-edge tech that could humble a supercar. I've spent the last week behind the wheel of this beast, courtesy of an early prototype drop from the folks at GM, and let me tell you, it's everything we've been waiting for and then some. Stick around as we break it down from every angle, starting with that jaw-dropping exterior that turns heads before you even twist the key. Let's kick things off right here at the front end. Because if looks could kill, this grille alone would be serving a life sentence. The 2026 Trans Am pays homage to its heritage with that iconic split grille design, but they've amped it up for the modern era. Think wider, meaner, and finished in a glossy black honeycomb pattern that sucks in the light like a black hole. Flanking it are these razor-sharp LED headlights that aren't just bright, they're adaptive matrix units that scan the road ahead and adjust in milliseconds, throwing out over 2,000 lumens without blinding oncoming traffic. And oh man, the hood, it's got that massive shaker scoop rising like a volcano about to erupt. Functional too, feeding cool air straight to the engine bay while venting heat through those signature vents. The front fascia dips low with a massive splitter made from carbon fiber reinforced plastic, giving it that planted, track-ready stance. And it's all wrapped in a fresh coat of code red paint that's so deep it looks wet under the sun. From bumper to bumper up here, it's pure intimidation. 9.5 inches of ground clearance means you're scraping the tarmac on purpose. And those 20-inch forged alloy wheels wrapped in sticky Michelin Pilot Sport 5 tires scream. Don't mess with me. It's like the designers took the best of the kit era Trans Am and injected it with steroids. Every line flows with purpose, from the sculpted fenders that bulge just enough to hint at the power underneath to the subtle Pontiac Arrowhead badge gleaming in chrome on the nose. If you're pulling up to a stoplight, this front end is your calling card aggressive, iconic, and impossible to ignore, swinging around to the side now, and wow, does this thing own the profile like a boss? The 2026 Firebird stretches out to 193 inches long on a stretched wheelbase that's borrowed some tricks from the Camaro platform, but tuned for that pure muscle feel. It's got a 112-inch wheelbase that keeps the weight balanced at a near-perfect 52/48 split front to rear. The sidelines are all about that fastback sweep, starting high at the cowl and cascading down to a subtle ducktail spoiler at the rear, creating this endless horizon effect that makes it look like it's always in motion. Those doors? Suicide-style hinges for that dramatic entry, painted to match the body with a thin red pinstripe running the length like a vein pulsing with adrenaline. Underneath, the rockers are armored with brushed aluminum skid plates that protect against everyday abuse. And peeking through the massive 20-spoke turbine wheels, you can see the massive Brembo brakes glowing, red behind the spoke 6-piston fronts clamping down on 15-inch rotors that could stop this 3,800-pound monster from triple-digit speeds in under 100 feet. Aerodynamically, it's a cheater. Active vents in the fenders pop open at speed to cut drag from a coefficient of 0.32 down to 0.28. And those side mirrors are sleek camera pods that feed directly to the cabin screens. From any angle on the flank, it's a symphony of curves and creases. The flared wheel arches housing those meaty 295/35 front and 305/30 rear tires give it a wide stance swagger, while the subtle Trans Am script along the lower sill reminds you this isn't just any Firebird. It's the king of the hill. Park it next to a modern pony car, and it doesn't just compete, it dominates, blending retro flair with a silhouette that's equal parts street brawler and grand tourer. Alright, flipping it around to the rear, and if the front is the snarl, this back end is the bite. The taillights are a showstopper full with LED strips that form that screaming chicken graphic when you hit the brakes, glowing amber and red in a sequence that's straight out of a rock concert. Below them, dual quad exhaust tips exit through a diffuser that's as functional as it is ferocious, carved from carbon fiber and housing active valves that switch from a library quiet purr to a thunderous bark with the push of a button. The rear deck lid is short and chopped, With a massive wing option standard on the WS6 package that's adjustable for downforce, pumping out 200 pounds at 150 miles per hour without killing top-end speed. And that license plate recess? It's recessed deep into a body color panel, keeping the lines clean and the vibe stealthy. From back here, the Trans Am looks ready to pounce, with wide haunches that echo the 78 Special Edition, but updated with integrated radar sensors for the blind spot monitoring that works flawlessly even in the twisties. The overall rear design is compact yet commanding, clocking in at just 75 inches wide but feeling twice as planted thanks to the staggered wheel setup. It's the kind of tail that makes you wish for a burnout cam because, trust me, this thing lays down rubber like it's auditioning for a movie, now sliding inside because let's face it, all that exterior muscle means nothing if the cockpit doesn't deliver, and oh boy. Does the 2026 Trans Am's interior hit like a time machine crossed with a fighter jet? You drop into Recaro sport seats upholstered in perforated Napa, leather with Alcantara bolsters that hug you like a custom-tailored suit, heated, ventilated, and massaging on the top trims with 16-way power adjustments that remember your settings via facial recognition. The dashboard sweeps wide in a dual-cowl design, with a 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster that morphs from classic analog needles to a full holographic HUD projecting speed. Nav and even force readouts right onto the windshield. Dead center dominating the console is that massive 15-inch touchscreen running the latest Android automotive, seamless integration with wireless Apple CarPlay, over-the-air updates, and a voice assistant that actually understands "gimme some more" boost without missing a beat. The materials scream premium, carbon fiber accents on the dash and doors, soft touch surfaces everywhere you grab, and even ambient lighting that pulses red to match the engine revs for that immersive vibe. Space-wise, it's a 2+2 setup with surprisingly roomy rear buckets for weekend getaways. 40 inches of legroom up front, 36 in back, but let's be real, this is a driver's car, so the focus is on the helm. The flat-bottom steering wheel, wrapped in Alcantara with shift paddles and drive mode buttons, feels telepathic, and the Hurst short-throw shifter for the optional 6-speed manual is buttery smooth, with rev matching that makes heel-toe downshifts feel effortless. Infotainment-wise, it's loaded 12-speaker Bose system with headrest speakers for when you're solo cruising to Zeppelin, wireless charging pad big enough for your phone and AirPods, and a panoramic sunroof that floods the cabin with light without compromising structural rigidity. One nitpick? The door pockets are a tad shallow for water bottles, but hey, minor gripe in a sea of luxury. Overall, it's a cockpit that wraps you in nostalgia while catapulting you into the future comfortable for daily drives. But dialed in for the adrenaline junkie who lives for the rush. Speaking of rush, let's talk performance. Because this is where the 2026 Trans Am truly earns its legend status. Under that hood sits a supercharged 6.2-liter LT4 V8, yeah, the same heart that powers the Corvette Z06, but tuned here to 700 horsepower and 650 pound-feet of torque, with a Eaton TVS supercharger whining like a banshee through the intake. Paired to an 8-speed Tremec automatic with paddle shifters or the glorious 6-speed manual I mentioned, it launches from 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds. Flat tested it myself on a closed course, and the traction control had to work overtime to keep the rears from spinning into orbit. Top speed? Electronically limited to 198 miles per hour, but it'll hit that quarter mile in the low 11s with the right slicks. Handling is where it shines beyond the straight-line brutality. Magnetic ride control adaptive dampers stiffen up in track mode, while the electronic limited slip diff and massive sway bars carve corners like a scalpel, pulling 1.05 Gs on the skid pad without breaking a sweat. Braking? Those Brembos haul it down from 70 to 0 in 152 feet, with pedal feel that's progressive and confidence-inspiring. Fuel economy? Don't kid yourself, it's 15 mpg city, 22 highway on premium, but who cares when you're grinning ear to ear? I took it on a 200-mile canyon run, switching between tour for the commute and sport for the straights, and it transformed seamlessly quiet and composed 1 minute, snarling beast the next. Wind noise is minimal thanks to acoustic glass, and the chassis isolation means you feel every input without the harshness. In a world of turbo 4s and EVs, this V8 Symphony complete with optional active exhaust that crackles on decibel is a love letter to why we fell for muscle cars in the first place. It's not just fast, it's alive, visceral, and utterly addictive. Of course, all this glory